Hi, this is Brandon from thirstgym.com. Today we're going to talk about how to set up bands for the bench press. There's a couple different options you have. The first one we're going to talk about is by far the simplest, and then we'll talk about some alternatives if you don't have access to band pegs for your particular rack or competition bench. So you need a long band, preferably from like Elite FTS, and the bands that you need will probably be a micro band, a mini band, or a monster mini band. Any band stronger than that, you probably are a world record bench presser, so it probably doesn't apply to you. The average person that benches less than 400 pounds is probably going to want a mini band, and if you bench less than 200 pounds, you're probably going to want a micro mini band, which is a very skinny orange one. For your bench or your rack, if you have band pegs, you need the band pegs set up to where there's ample distance between them, preferably about 5 to 6 inches. So the way that I know is my hand is about 6 inches, and so that's where I have my band peg set up. And for this competition bench, that's the first hole and the last hole, which makes it really simple. You can obviously change that a little bit if you want to get really, really specific. You can move those in to get a particular distance on the pegs, which is when you bring it up to the bar will change. So you can obviously measure them, but for the rule of thumb, mini band's probably all you're going to need. You're going to take the band. This is where people have the mistake. So we're going to talk about what people do first. The first thing people do, I guess, take the band like this, and then they just put it around the bar like that. That does absolutely nothing. There's no tension there. It doesn't provide any kind of training effect. The other thing people will do is they'll set it up like this. They'll run both down. They'll take one, run it through, and then pull it like this. This isn't a bad option. Okay, if you are limited with the bands that you have, this may be what you have to do. But again, it's not optimal because there's not enough change in resistance from the bottom to the top when I go to bench press. There's not enough there for a training effect for at least me. This might be enough for maybe a female that benches 150 pounds or so, and they want to utilize bands in some capacity of their training. This might work, but again, not recommended because more than likely what's going to happen when you go down the bottom, this tension down here is going to become loose, and then there's not really any tension here when you actually get down to the bottom. We want tension at the bottom at the whole time. So what you want to do, take that setup. So you're going to take the band like this. You're going to run it underneath both band pegs. You're going to make what I call railroad tracks. So they're running parallel to each other. I got one end of the band on each side. I'm going to grab them together with one hand, and then I'm going to lift them up to where they cross like that around the bar. So now I've got a ton of tension. That's a good amount of tension. That bar's not going anywhere in here in this rack. Then also when it comes down to the very, very bottom here, I'm going to have tension at the bottom, and I'm going to have to accelerate hard at the top. That's the easiest way to do it. Now, if you don't have band pegs, all you do is mimic the setup with dumbbells. So ideally, you're going to want to have two pairs that are about the same in terms of their diameter and weight and all that kind of stuff. Again, kind of a pain in the butt, but if you're in dire need, that's what you can do. So basically, you would take, say, a pair of 50s and a pair of 40s, and you'd have a 50 on one side and a 40 on one side, or 45 or whatever. And then your dumbbell handles now become your band pegs, and then you're going to run them through the exact same way and pull up to the top. What I've found is that most dumbbells, when you do that, work well because they're about 4 to 6 inches apart for the handles. The only dumbbells that will not work is if you have round dumbbells. Then the dumbbells are going to want to roll when the bar's in the rack and the band is pulling on them. So hex dumbbells are definitely preferred, or if you really, really want to use round dumbbells, take your 2.5 pound plates, shove them in between on each side of the dumbbells, and that will prevent them from rolling, and then you'll probably be okay. So I have been stuck in all those situations before, and I have made do, and it will work. But again, this is the ideal way to do it. Find a rack or a bench that's got band pegs, go to a gym that's got band pegs, and then hook your bands up this way, and you're good to go. It's very simple. So if you got any questions, leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.